Welcome to Partnerships for Profit, the podcast where we bring you inside the world of joint ventures, strategic partnerships, and powerful collaborations. Whether you're looking to expand your network, find new referral partners, or scale your business, you're in the right place. Let's get started.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Partnerships for Profit. I'm your host, Ana Del Rio, and this week we're joined by Rose Harper, a powerhouse trial attorney, entrepreneur, and mother of three who's helping families secure their legacy through estate planning and justice advocacy. We'll dive into how Rose built a thriving legal career, a standout presence on LinkedIn, and lasting referral partnerships, all while staying grounded in faith and family. Hi, Rose. Thank you so much for joining us. How are you doing?
Thank you so much for having me. This is so great. I'm happy to be here and talk with you about all those topics. That sounds exciting.
I am excited. So let's go ahead and just dive right in. Tell us about yourself, like your background, give us a scoop.
Yeah, definitely. So I am from Westchester County, New York originally. I grew up in a really small town, but we were like an hour north of the city, definitely a commuter town right on the Hudson River. And I don't come from a family of lawyers. So going to law school was definitely a risk for me. And at the time, I was already a single mom. So I had my son when I was really young. I was 17. It was my senior year of high school. So that kind of really changed the trajectory of my life. But with each fork in the road, each decision, you have to make a choice, and just along the way, making sure that I was tapping into, like, what do I think my purpose is, and how should I move forward? What are my God-given skills? And really just pursuing that path has helped me navigate really challenging times in life and overcome some of those hardships. And now I'm, thrilled to feel like I'm fulfilling my purpose as a mom and also as an attorney. So it's a really great feeling.
That's amazing. What was it like being that you didn't have like the upbringing in, where your parents were in the legal field? And so how did you come to want to get into law?
So, originally after college, so in college, I majored in Spanish language. And my first son, his father was from Ecuador originally. So at that time, I was like loving speaking with my in-laws and really engrossed in Latino culture. So that was wonderful. And after college, my parents really wanted me to become a teacher, actually, because they just said, you're already a mom. It's a great schedule. You need job security. They were really pushing me to become a teacher. And I actually began a master's in education because I was just kind of like, that's what my parents want me to do. But I felt so convicted. There was the first time that I did not enjoy going to class. I was getting sick to my stomach going to these master's courses. I did not want to be there. It just felt wrong. Like I shouldn't be doing this. I was like going to get a master's, like, that's I feel like, wow, this is not for me. But I really felt strongly about that. But they made me finish the semester. And even my parents felt so strongly kind of encouraged me to become a teacher. They were actually offering to pay for my master's to get me to do it, but they said they will not give me a dime towards law school. So it was like a really big decision I had to make. And at the time, I did have one aunt who was a lawyer, and she was like a small town lawyer in the town I grew up in. She ended up passing away my first year of law school with really no money to her name. But I interned for her over the summer, and she was such a great resource to the elderly community locally. I mean, she did a ton of work for free. She was not a businesswoman, but she was a resource to people. And I just thought, wow, that's really amazing that she's able to do that. And if my aunt could do it, maybe I could. So that kind of opened that door for me, that idea. And when I was in college, I was a part of the Honor Society, mostly because they gave free pizza lunches occasionally. And we would all get together like in between classes. And a lot of the kids from that program were going on to medical school, law school. One of them just kind of told me, like, you're not going to go to law school because you're a mom. Like, you're smarter than me. Like, and I'm going, so you should try. So all of those factors kind of put together, I just basically decided I'm going to go for it. But it was a huge risk because I had to take on student loans. A lot of
Mhm.
students don't even make it through their first year, they fail out. And then even
Yeah.
if I get through law school, 3 years, which was a lot of time away from my son at the time and everything. So a lot of sacrifices. I could graduate from law school and not pass the bar. So I really had to believe in myself and believe that God would see me through, that this was part of my purpose in life
Mhm.
and that I was working towards that. So, really, my faith and belief that I was moving in the right direction is what got me through and helped me to actually pursue this path.
I'm just in awe. Your come up story is absolutely so beautiful. I love that you were a younger mom and that you went your own way and you paved your own path. That's gotta feel amazing.
Thank you, it does. I mean, there were so many I'm sure there were so many times I was, like,
Of
crying, I don't
course,
know if, like, what
of
I'm doing,
course.
um, but no, it obviously ended up working out for me. I passed the
Mhm.
bar the first time, New York and New Jersey, but then even after that, I went to law school in New Jersey, and I was from New York, and I wanted to go back home, to be with my
Right, right.
family, and, that really did not translate. It didn't my law school in New Jersey did not necessarily open up job opportunities for me in New York, and I didn't know anyone, I didn't have any connections. So I
Ah,
had to start from the bottom. I worked for a small town local solo attorney. My aunt had passed away already at that point.
right.
So I got a job part-time, no benefits, and I'm a mom. So I
Yeah,
literally had to work my way up from the bottom, but I took what I could. I'm so grateful for those opportunities. They got enough experience on my resume that a firm looked at me from the city. And the only reason they did is because, the managing partner was from the same county as me. And he was like, "Yeah, I figured I'd give you a shot because, I didn't have many opportunities either." So,
right.
just those little moments that I really feel like God was looking out for me on my path and my career
Absolutely.
because there was really no reason for them to give me the opportunity, and I got it. So then I went from, like, no benefits, part-time work, like, small town firm till actually having an office on Wall Street in the Wolf of Wall Street building, 180 Broad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah!
So
That's
that was really
cool.
cool, and they were wonderful, but I was commuting an
Mm.
hour and a half each way on public
Mhm.
transit, and then as a single
Yeah.
mom, I got worried, like, "What if something happens and I can't get back to my son?" So there's just
Mhm.
so many factors along your career that kind of, prompt you to make those choices and, like, "Okay, well, even though this is an amazing opportunity and I love
Right.
it, but, it really wasn't the right fit for my son and I over the coming years." So, just really
Uh-huh.
assessing, like, where am I in my career, and then also where am I as a mom, on my journey as a mom. So,
Yeah.
constantly making those reassessments.
Constantly. It's necessary for us to revisit, oh my gosh. I have to ask this question
Sure.
because you said because your parents, they weren't supportive of it. They didn't want to help you like pay for, you going to law school and things like that. How do they feel now?
Well, I wouldn't say they weren't supportive because
Yeah.
they essentially took my son in. They were like, "Look,
Okay.
you're gonna do it, go, like, live by the campus."
Mhm.
They helped care for my son during that whole time. Well, the first 2
That's
years, and then I moved back home and commuted the last year. Because your first year, they pick your class schedule for you. You really have to
oh,
be
yeah.
all day.
Mhm.
And we were worried about me being too tired, like, on the roadway on the drive home. So anyway, so I wouldn't say they weren't supportive, it's just that they felt like what they saw for my life, was the right thing in the right direction, so they were trying to encourage that as much as possible. Um,
Mhm.
but they're, of course, thrilled, and, like, they were at my law school graduation,
Of
they were so
course.
happy for me,
Of course.
and, yeah, no, they're very supportive now, so, everything has worked out.
That's great. Okay, okay. So we'll go get back to, the task at hand here. I was so engrossed in your story. I loved it.
Oh, yeah.
So you built an impressive career as
Thank
both
you.
a trial attorney and entrepreneur. So what's the secret to balancing business growth, motherhood, and faith without burning out?
It's definitely a challenge, but
Mhm.
I would say, to balance or feel like you're balanced, you have to have the mentality that nothing is gonna be perfectly managed.
Mhm.
And that's okay. There's gonna be seasons in life. So there's some seasons where I'm working more or I'm heading toward a particular goal in my career, and it's
Mhm.
just for that season. And then there's other seasons where I might say, you know what, I think my kids really need me more, they need more of my attention or whatever the case may be. And maybe I'll make a different shift in my career. So I think it's just constantly tapping into, okay, like, grounding yourself. Like, what is
Right.
my true purpose? What's for me, it's what is my purpose, in motherhood and as an attorney. And for me, that's, God's purpose for my life, really. What should I be doing in this time and in this moment? And to hopefully serve God's mission for me. And once you realize that and you connect with that, you have
Mhm.
alignment, and then you can really feel like you're moving in the direction you're supposed to be moving. So for me, I've always had seasons in my life, like some seasons where my main priority is maybe doing certain things for my children. Like, I actually took 2.5 years off in my career to have my two younger children.
Oh,
So
wow. Okay.
3 kids total, and my younger two are 6 and 3 now.
Oh,
But I
wow.
took 2.5 years off, and that's really scary when you're an attorney, like, oh, taking time
Imagine.
off. But that time was really amazing for me and my two younger kids to get that time together, and I'm so glad that I did it. And at the end of the day, I was able to come back in. Thank God I had my law degree. I actually, when I came back into the workforce after 2.5 years of not working, um,
Mhm.
and with 2 little kids, um,
Right.
I came back in, I was able to find a fully remote position,
Oh,
making 6 figures, and they were lovely and let me, do my thing. I was already experienced attorney at that point. I had already
yeah.
had jury trials, so, I think that's why it worked out really well. And then
Mhm.
after that, I just realized, I kinda wanna build something for myself and my family. Maybe one of my 3 kids might become a lawyer one day. Um
Yeah.
so, kinda went off on my own, but yeah, I would say just realizing that, things don't have to be perfect in every moment, and it's okay to recognize whatever season in life that you're in, for
Mhm.
whatever period that season might be, and, to just be confident in as long as you're moving in the right direction with
Right.
regard to what you feel your purpose is.
I love that. I love that so much.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get into your business and what it is like. Who do you help? Like, what kind of people do you help?
Yeah, so I predominantly actually do personal injury, so I help
Okay.
accident victims, so anyone who's been injured in an accident, I help them navigate that whole process after an accident occurs. I also do estate planning, helping families
Okay.
set up their wills, their trusts, and things like that for family legacy planning. But the majority of my experience is personal injury, and I'm really gravitating towards that this year. Last year, I did a
Oh,
lot of estate planning. This year, I'm actually, I'm really enjoying the personal injury cases, and I think I want to move forward with that. So constantly tapping into, how am I moving forward and what am I doing during this season? But for me, also a lot of my client base is Latino, they're Spanish speaking.
yeah,
I
that's
yeah,
good because then you can utilize your bachelor. That's amazing.
I'm loving it. Like, I speak Spanish, my staff is bilingual, and I think I also really like it because I get to kind of go beyond just like the case and the legal work and really
Yeah.
educate them and empower them to, make sure they understand like the insurance system and process and the legal system and process. And even beyond that, like, we're getting you this really large lump sum. Like, what are your plans? Like, because
Yeah.
sometimes when you come from another country and you come to the US, things are
Mhm.
so different. Like, even trusting the banking system or things like that.
Yeah.
Like one client I had to explain, like, please do not bring this to like some random guy who's supposedly going to cash your check for you. It's not,
Yeah. Oh, man.
things like that. But
Yeah.
the truth is that the country he came from, like, he was like, no, the bank's gonna steal my money. So it's just a very different thing.
Oh.
So really going beyond, like, I'm really glad I had that time. Like, if I was at a larger firm, maybe I wouldn't have necessarily taken that time to talk him through, like, hey, like,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
what are you doing with this? Where are you putting this? So I'm glad that I'm able to do that with having my own practice and just really go kind of beyond the basics and make sure that my clients are really taken care of and understand and, know what they're doing and guide them that way.
That's great. So everybody has that one story that really kind of sticks with them, that one case or something like that. Tell us a story about somebody that you've helped, whether the outcome was good or bad. Just what story sticks with you?
Yes. So there's a number of them. I'll recall I have one of the jury trials that I had, it was actually defending a woman, a mom
Mm.
who she hit a parked cop car.
Oh man.
Okay.
Oh.
So actually, the police officer was alleging a fractured clavicle amongst other injuries, and it ended up going to trial. And the mom was so emotional. I was able to get into, I think my closing argument, the fact that she literally just for a second was turning the volume down on the radio because when they turned it on in the car, her son must have blasted it the last time it was on, and it was so
Mm.
loud. So she literally took her eyes off the road for a second, just turned down the volume, and nicked the car. But it was really just her experiencing her have that emotional release of like, yes, she made this mistake. She understood that, but,
Mhm.
just kind of like watching her go through that process. And I ended up actually getting a judgment in her favor that his accident or his injuries were not related to the case through looking at his social media. So this actually ends up being a lot
Oh,
of tips. Be careful what you post on social media. You want to lock down your social media accounts and,
especially if
because
you're trying to lie.
well, so in that trial, actually, because,
Mhm.
you know, was he lying or did his doctor what I ended up arguing to the jury to take the heat off of the people,
Right,
right?
because that was the
You
reason
can
of
get
that,
into
yeah.
other people's story and, this guy's in here and claiming he was injured
Yeah.
due to the accident. So I actually was able to say, like, look, the reason we're here is because his doctor, misread his x-ray. He misread the x-ray. The doctor said that this was fracture had just happened, but it really was an old fracture. So that was his error. So I was able to kind of like take the
Yeah.
him and like
Yeah.
the pressure out of the room, like, oh, this was just a misdiagnosis by the doctor. Because in certain states,
Wow.
he needed that fracture because he didn't have other injuries to prove a permanent injury in New York. So for New York, there's statute law, and you have to fit into one of the categories in order to bring a claim for personal injuries for an accident. So some of them are like death, obviously,
Right,
dismemberment.
right,
You're out of work for 90 out of 180 days. I'm saying work, but it's really like your usual course of daily activities.
right.
Um, so there's certain categories that you can fall under. One is a fracture. So it depends on which category your injuries fall into, and then you have to prove them, and you have to prove that they're related to the accident. So
Ooh.
yeah, very interesting. I love like the trial work is so interesting. I really love it, and just making sure that you have all your proofs in place. And now I help
Mhm.
plaintiffs do that same exact thing. And since I have experience on the defense side, I can definitely use that to my advantage and help my clients, get that upper hand.
I love that. Oh my god, Rose, I'm really, really enjoying talking to you. We are starting to
Great.
run low on time,
Mhm.
but, I feel like I just wanna keep asking these questions. I have all these questions in my notes.
I'm so
So
happy to speak with you. This is great.
this is so much fun. So another question. So many lawyers struggle to stand out like online.
Mhm.
What's been the most powerful strategy behind you building your LinkedIn presence and turning it into like real connections?
Yeah, so LinkedIn is amazing. Like I have made so many wonderful connections through LinkedIn. I have like 3,700 connections right now. Obviously, I built that up over time. But I
Mhm.
think being like authentic to yourself. So I don't try to be anyone else. Like I just post what I'm doing or who I'm looking to connect with, and things like that because I have this amazing, robust professional network on there. So why waste my time on Google, LinkedIn,
Right?
community, help me out. And it's been wonderful. Like even some people I connect on there because if you post like the events that you're going to, like I had
Mm.
another New Jersey. I've connected with her on there for quite a while. She posted about an in-person event, and I went and we got to chat and connect and maybe refer cases back and forth. So LinkedIn is really, really useful. And once you take it off of LinkedIn, usually, like if I know that I'm connecting with someone who I want to be a referral partner with them, I'll immediately message them and just be upfront. Like, I'm so glad you accepted my connection. I'm hoping to speak with you on the phone or a video chat if you have time, because I think that we'd be a great referral partner for each other. And I've been very warmly received. I think that's a great way to do it. And it's not so imposing. They can choose. A phone call is pretty low key, not so much for people time wise. And another thing that I've learned is I created like a center of influence option on my calendar, so I can just send the link to people and they can book themselves at their convenience. Saves me time of negotiating the time. They can book themselves on my calendar to get a quick call with me and connect. So that's been great.
That's awesome. So tell everybody how they can find you. I mean, I know obviously on LinkedIn, but do you have how else can they find you?
I'm Rose Harper Law on all the social media platforms and Rose Harper on LinkedIn. And I look forward to connecting with anyone that wants to connect with me.
Awesome. Awesome. You make it so simple. You're so branded perfectly. I love it, Rose. Well, thank you again for being on the show with us and providing us this great information. And everybody watching, I hope that you've enjoyed and can connect with her and just help her on her journey keep glowing up. So everyone have a great rest of your day. And again, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of Partnerships for Profit. We hope you've gained valuable insights on how to form profitable partnerships and take your business to the next level. Be sure to subscribe and leave us a review wherever you listen to podcasts so you never miss an episode. Got a partnership story to share or someone you'd like to see featured on the show? Reach out to us. Until next time, keep building those partnerships for profit.